Good morning, Facebook world, or YouTube world if you're watching this on catch up on YouTube. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and this is the second of this week's live videos. Morning, Jackie. And we're going to have a little bit of a play this morning with another new set that I've had come through that I've yet to play with. So you're going to be playing along with me. So before we get started, a couple of things. Apologies if you are on my Facebook page, because you may well have been pinged mercilessly, whatever that word is, that I can't say on a Friday morning, yesterday evening, as I was updating the events with all the upcoming classes between now and Christmas. So they are now everywhere you could care to look. So they are on the Facebook page, they are on the website, they've been on the website for a while, and they are also on my Stampin' Up portal. So in all of those places you will find details of all the classes in the post, and those that are online, unless we decide to sneak any more in between now and Christmas. So not just classes, there's a completely quackers crafty Christmas games night, to say that slowly, that's on there as well. So you'll find details of all those things up on my website, on my Facebook page, and on my Stampin' Up portal now as well. So they are all there. So that was yesterday evening's job. So if you were invited to 100 events last night, that's why. That was yesterday evening's job. The other thing I wanted to say was that I came on, I posted earlier in the week that I'd been invited to be a guest crafter on a craft group that is run by a lady from Radio Northampton. I think it's like a community outreach that they put together at the beginning of lockdown, and this little group of people have been meeting together to craft on a weekly basis, and they invited me to join them on Wednesday, which was lovely, and we made some boxes and some bags and some tags, and I posted pictures of the bags and had a bit of an influx of we need to know how to make those bags, and it just sort of sparked the thought, because today for me is a planning day. I've put aside most of today to do some planning and forward thinking and those sorts of things. It sort of sparked forward that just to say, and I'm sure I've said before, that if there is anything in particular that you would like me to show, demonstrate. I did an Instagram video this week, you may have seen that. That was sparked by a customer messaging me and saying, can you show us how to? That's my job. I am here as your creative coach. Isn't that lovely? So not only am I here to help you get your hands on all these gorgeous products, I am also here as your creative coach, and I take that job very seriously. And in that respect, if there is anything that you think, oh, I wish I knew how to, what do I do with? I've not seen anything with such and such a stamp set. If I've got it and it is within my power, I will add it in, and we'll do some sort of demonstration on it, whether it's part of the Facebook Lives or whether it's a separate little video or whatever it is. So do shout. It helps me with my planning as well as helps you with your crafting. So do let me know. Right, enough wittering on for this morning. We're going to have a look at a new set that's new to all of us, but is new to me in that I've not even started using any of it yet. Let me just grab the flyer that goes with this. It is the Curvy Celebrations, and it is an partly exclusive, partly early release. So it's a little bit of both. So let me explain. This Quite Curvy bundle that's up here, and we'll look at it in a bit more detail in a minute. This is an early release from the January to June mini catalogue 2021. So very early release. We're going to be able to get our hands on this either now or very soon for this Quite Curvy bundle just here. What they've added into that is the opportunity to get an exclusive couple of items, and the exclusive items are only going to be available now if you're a demonstrator, or from beginning of November up until the 4th of January. And those exclusive items that are only going to be available for that period are the Quite Curvy Christmas stamp set that's just here, and the classic Christmas 6x6 paper. So now you have a couple of choices. You can just buy the Quite Curvy bundle. You can just buy the Curvy Christmas stamp set. You can just buy that pack of paper, or you can have it all as a variety bundle. And the variety bundle for the Quite Curvy stamp set, the curvy dies, the Curvy Christmas stamp set, the classic papers, comes to £66.25 for the whole lot. We've not actually started crafting. We're only chatting at the moment, and you can see these dies here. You can see how you get this sort of dotty curvy line just here. These are some of the dies all cut out, really pretty, and there you have those papers, and that Christmassy sort of effect just there. It's quite nice, isn't it, how they've created that Christmassy sort of flourish at the corner there. So let's have a look at these in sort of a bit more real life rather than on the paper. So this is the Quite Curvy bundle, so the stamp set and the die, that's going to be available in the catalogue starting in January, but it's also available to customers from the 3rd of November. So you get this gorgeous sort of ivy bough just here. We've got these 3 little birds, aren't they cute? You've got all these curvy greetings. You're one in a million, hooray for you, thinking of you makes my day, wishing you the happiest of birthdays. Get a couple of straight ones as well. Hello, made with love just for you. That's quite a nice one to put on the back of your cards, isn't it? You've also got this little floral swag here, and this tiny little leaf bit just there. So that's the basic Quite Curvy stamp set. The dies that go alongside that, you've got this curvy die that gives you that dotty outline. You've got a curvy die that gives you a sort of like an ivy leaf border, and then you've got a curvy die that gives you this sort of fancy fleur-de-lis type border. Then you've got this little bit here that is a bit of greenery, and then you've got 3 little dies to cut out those 3 little birds. You've got a die to cut out that tiny little leaf just here, and you've got a die to cut out this swag and this little swag just here. So really nice dies. So that is the bundle that is going to be in the catalogue next year. The exclusive things that are only available up until the 4th of January are this Curvy Christmas, and you've got these Christmas trees, you've got this swoosh of stars. Again, you've got Curvy Christmases, greetings, may your days be merry and bright, thinking of you at Christmas. You've got these nice stamps just here, a little snow flurry, some stars and snowflakes. This gorgeous bow, it's really rather lovely. Yeah, so that's quite lovely. And then you've got these papers. So obviously you get a pack of 48 papers. I'll just show you one of each of the designs, and it is Cherry Cobbler, Sahara Sand, and Shaded Spruce. So you get sort of these, is it 3 or 4 designs in each? Let's have a count when we get to the end. That's the spots, that's the tree. So for each colourway you get tree, spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 4 different designs in 4 different colours. So if I take that one and that one, those are your 4 different designs there, and you get the 4 different colours. Let's swap that round, and then we've got that 4 different designs, 3 different colours. Let's try and count, and then if we turn it over, vroom, you've obviously got 4 more different designs, rather sweet, in those same 3 colours. So nice sort of generic background papers. Not all of them have to be Christmassy, so you know, it's, you know, that one doesn't have to be Christmassy, that one doesn't have to be Christmassy, that one doesn't have to be Christmassy. So, you know, for each of the designs, there's 5 of them that are very definitely not Christmassy per se, that you can use for other things. So a really lovely little group of products. Slurp of tea. And then we ought to get playing. So where to start? Shall we start? Let's start Christmassy. And I'm thinking, yes, I'm thinking we'll go with the spotty dye just there. And some of these curvy stamps. Now obviously these are photopolymer. I'm going to lift those off. What's really interesting, as I say, this is the first time that I've used these stamps. I was looking on not a Stampin' Up, but a other craft Facebook group the other day, and they were everybody trying to bring up tips of how to get the dies off of the backing, the stamps off of the backing, without tearing them. And I thought, that's because the dies are not stamping, the stamps are not Stampin' Up stamps. You don't have that problem with Stampin' Up stamps of having to, how to on earth do you get them to unstick from the backing without tearing the stamp. I know that there are stamps that is an issue with, but these aren't one of them, and it's partly to do with how they're manufactured. If they're high in silicone, they tend to be a bit more sticky. They tend to get a bit more brittle. So, as with all things, you do get what you pay for, and you get the customer service that you pay for. So there we go. There's our stamp with our snowflakes on, and our stamp with our trees on, and we've got our curvy die. So that's a good place to start. I'm going to take a big piece of Night of Navy and a piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to cut this so that it is, actually I think for now I'm going to go, let's go 10 by 13.9 I think. Particularly as this is the first time I've played with it, you could probably get away with a bit that's slightly smaller once you've played with it a bit more. I'm going to start with 13.9 by 10. And I'm going to take the star stamp, so I'm just going to lay it down and let it sort of rest, and then I'm going to pick it up from my mat with my block like that. Morning, Em. Let's bring in our mat, and what I'm thinking we will do is I've got my embossing buddy. Let's give that a rub. And let's tap that all over, and let's start with a swoosh of stars coming up the top here. let's take some silver, I think, embossing powder. There we go. Let's pop the lid on our embossing powder so that we don't get that everywhere. And let's heat that up. Hi, Michelle. Do share these videos out. Do let other people know about us. It's lovely to see lots of people joining us for these Facebook Lives to check in how everyone's doing, have a bit of a play. As I say, I'm happy to take requests from the floor for things to create. Look at that, isn't that lovely? A whoosh of stars across the top there. Now, no, that's not the stamp set that I want. I think I'm then going to take the Thinking of You at Christmas. And again, let's lay that down and let it find its own level for a minute, and then pick it up on this block. And where shall we have that curving? Have it curving. The nice thing about photopolymer, of course, is that you can curve it slightly more. That's better. We'll have it like that, I think. Curving around the edge of those stars. So let's come in with a bit more embossing buddy, just in case we've got anything sticky on there. Bring back in. Bring back in our silver embossing powder and let's give that a blast. There we go. We have a curvy greeting around our curvy stars. And now I'm going to let's take off whoop, our curvy stars and add in some curvy trees. And with those shaded spruce, because they are, after all, spruce trees, one sort or another. Ink those up. How cute are they? Bring the blender pen. just bring out that colour a little bit. I could have gone in with a wink of Stella here and dragged the colour out and made it sparkly at the same time. Oh, missed a tree. There we go, that's just given them a bit more colour. I think I'm going to grab number 1, number 2. I'm going to grab my magnetic plate. One of my clear acrylic plates, and then let's bring in our curvy die and line that up. About like that, I would think. Let's just unfold my die cutting machine, put the plate on the top, and away we go. First lesson, make sure your die is cut in the right, it's cutting in the right place. So let us try that once more with feeling. I'm going to actually line it up on this one. This is the cut line on the bottom, so we'll line this up and give that a spotty bottom. So if you look at your die, you've got all your little dots it cuts out, and then this is the line of cutting. Didn't think about that, did I? This is where we learn together. Let's lay that on there. Let's bring that down and give that a nice little border. Line it up so we're happy with it. Looking rather good. I'm going to grab shaded spruce. And we'll think about what colour background do we want that to be on. I might. Do I want to stick with nice navy? Or these are wide enough. Excuse me while I'm just digging around in my are we going to go light of navy or are we going to go shaded spruce? I go shaded spruce. Okay, I'm going to score this at 14.9. Thereabouts, to give us a side opening card. I'm going to have our bit of light of navy. To trim this down a bit. And a bit of whisper white and our shaded spruce tree. To trim that down a little bit on the bottom too. And then I'll take a little bit, if I can find it, of the Whisper White seam binding, and we'll take our dark shaded spruce pen. Let's just make ourselves up some shaded spruce ribbon. So obviously the wonder of this crinkle seam binding is the fact that you can just colour it any colour. I've used a stamping blend there. I'm going to grab my Simply Chamois. But it could equally be a, you could run it through an ink pad, use a sponge dauber. Let's just take that off the glass mat. Sorry for wobbling you. So I'm going to take a bit of this ribbon, enough to stick round each side. Just a bit of tear and tape to stick it down to the back. That round that side. Still managed to pick up gunky green stuff off the back. So that's that bit. Now I'm going to stick that directly to our card base. Down here. Then I'm going to take some dimensionals. I'm going to overlap that slightly so it's overlapping underneath. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on there. And let's line that up so it's nice and straight on the sides and skimming the top of our trees. And then with this one I'm going to put some dimensionals across the top, and then I'm going to run some glue along this bottom. And again, let's line that up so it's about where we want it on the top and on the sides. And then we'll take this leftover bit of ribbon just here. Oh, got a couple of little landlocked dots just there that I need to sort out. I'm going to leave that just as a knot. We've got quite a nice little curvy. Let's just poke those out. A curvy Christmas scene with sparkly stars in the sky. Let's just add a couple more sparkles up there. There we go. Thinking of you at Christmas with all those lovely little curvy outlines. Really quite cute. So that is the Christmas stamp, but I think we'll have a play with the Quite Curvy bundle as well, with those pretty flowers and birds. Of course, with this Christmas one you don't just have to use the curves. You could build up lovely sprays with the bows and the foliage you've got there, and you don't have to just use the curvy dies going across your card. You could of course have them going down your card and have it sort of as a shaped border and have a fancy edged card. There's all sorts of things that you can do with these as we get playing with them. So let's just pop those Christmas ones away. We could have just simply taken some of those papers and just cut curvy strips out of the papers and added a greeting. That in itself would just look beautiful. I mean, you know, really lovely. Just cut lots of strips and keep going. Right, let's bring in this set. And let's go. Ooh. What to go? Hair Pizzazz, I think. I'm going to cut this down as a card base. I'm going to cut it at about 14.9, score it at 10.5. Like that. And I'm going to take this die just here with all of the ivy sort of cutouts. Now if you look and see, you've got all these cut lines coming around here. So what this is going to do, it's not going to cut out a shape, it's going to cut into the card. It's just going to cut, so where all the raised lines are, that's where it's going to cut. So it's just going to cut all these shapes into the outline of the card. You are going to get lots and lots of little tiny leaves, I think. So what you could do is you almost want something to catch those underneath. But I'm going to cut a fancy edge in this card. Now then, does that follow the same? Yes, it does. So actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut a curvy line. Or we might go really mad and do them both at the same time. Might not be able to, might not. Yeah, I think it will just about fit on that plate. So, I don't want them hanging over the edge because that would spoil our dies. But let's line that up. So that's our cut edge just there, and this is the spot. So it's going to cut here and leave a row of spots, the dots or whatever, like that. And then we can also lay in our leaves to follow that curvy line like that. Let's bring on our top plate and let's have a drum roll. Let's have a look and see what that's done. So we've got the edge of the card cut off. That's a good start. If we leave this die up, we've got a nice spotty edge to our card. That's rather exciting. And then if we take these off, look at all those leaves. They are just so beautiful. Can't use those as waste, can you? What would be really nice, it would be fiddly but nice, would be to cut that in a different colour and inlay them. But I'm not going to do that during this live. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? Let's just pop out the rest of those holes. Hi Glenda. Now for this set, if you're looking at it and thinking I quite like that, as a customer you're going to be able to buy it from the 3rd of November. So saying if you want the whole bundle with the Christmas things as well, that's going to be available from the 3rd of November up until the 4th of January. But you can, as with all of these things, add this to a starter kit. So if you want to, Shall we have 3 birds? Let's. We've got 3 birds. Let's have 3 birds. Let's see how that takes us. And I'm going to take a Thinking of You Makes My Day. Okay, let's find ourselves a bit of Whisper White cardstock. So yes, if you want this set, you're either going to have to be patient and wait until the 3rd of November, or go, what the heck, I'm going to add that. That can be one of my £130 worth of stuff that I can get for £99, and I'm putting it in a starter kit. I'm having it, and I'm having it now. If you are that impatient person and you want it now, do get in touch and I will help you to make that a reality. And of course you'll be in a good position. You'll be able to get everything out of the new January to June catalogue early if you want to, because as a demonstrator you get to pre-order from the beginning of December. You don't have to wait until the beginning of January. So if you want to be forever impatient, always getting those things early, go for it. I'm going to pop all 3 of these birds on this block. I'm going to stamp them all at once because we've got dies to cut them out. So I can. They would make quite good little robins, these birds, actually. So if you're looking for a little robin for your Christmas cards, I think that that could be done with those little guys. Let me just pop that just there. Don't you go flying off, little robins, little birds. Let's lay this one down and pick that up. I'm going to have that one there. Right. Let's put the lid on that ink pad. Let's just move our little card base. Ooh, these little leaves, they're just so pretty. I might actually use a couple of them. Let me just grab something I can pop those into. It's quite a grubby little looking thing, but it will hold my leaves for now. In you go, leaves, just in case I need some of you in a minute. They're just so pretty and they're all embossed. Look at them. Ooh, missed one. Got little light of navy spots everywhere. Okay, let's bring this back in. Let's find our dies. So you are that bird. You are that bird, I think. Your feet are slightly closer together. You are that bird. You are that little swag of flowers just there. Now that's our cut line, and that's our fancy. Might have to do that separately. or at least cut it off to, let's just run these bits through first and then we can fiddle around with that one. Those are cute, aren't they? I'm going to cut that down a bit so that I can play. To have that coming in there, so the cut line on that one is sitting at the bottom, so it will give spots coming in alongside our greeting, and that one will have coming like that. Ooh, don't slippy slide, that's it. I'm going to take this and cut it there and there. How pretty is that? Right, let's grab some colours to bit of petal pink. Let's have old olive, I think. So I've grabbed, what have I got? Old olive, light Highland heather, got some light so saffron, some light petal pink, some crumb cake and some soft suede. So let's have a little look at these guys. I think the flowers in here I'm going to go Highland heather with. I'm just putting down a bit of dark Highland heather. Let's come in with some light Highland heather. Squeaky, squeaky. last but not least, I'm going to come in with, this is some light old olive. And actually the light old olive isn't a bad match for the pear pizzazz. So I've done those leaves with that. I'm going to take the dark old olive and do the sort of the leaves and the stalks. So we've just used one combo, but we've got a couple of different shades going on with the different types of leaves. And there we go, that's our little floral. Okay, Jackie, see you soon. And then let's have our little birds. I'm going to come in with, let's go light soft suede, I think. I'm just going to come around the edge here. And I'm going to take some dark petal pink and come in here. And then I'm going to take, let's go dark crumb cake. And then let's come over all of it with some light crumb cake. And that will hopefully blend that all in together, give him a sort of little petal pink blush. He's quite cute. And let me lift him up, so can you see where, oh, he's just flown off my finger. You can see where I've blended over the top, but you've got that petal pink blush sort of coming on just here, but it's not as a dark stripe because we've blended over the top. So do we want our birds all to be the same, or shall we go for slightly different colours on some? Let me give this one a bit of a yellow bit on his wing, I think. Come in, that's just a light looking for my light crumb cake, and it's right underneath my fingers. Let's just blend that all together. I'm not going to blend that yellow too much, I'm going to leave it yellow. We'll blend in down there. And then let's make this one make him much pinker, but we'll still come in with that light. Blend that through, but we'll leave him a bit more pink. There we go. Very cute. Just take them down a little bit more on that end. I think I'm going to put that up on dimensionals. And have I buried my dimensionals? Up here, so let's use up this little edging on this one that's come from a kit somewhere along the line. I'm just going to run some bits along that centre. Like that. And we've got our little floral elements. I think I'm going to pop those up onto some dimensionals too. Slightly smaller bits for this one. Have that tucking over that edge just there, and then let's have our little birds tucking in behind there. And that little one I'm going to put up on a dimensional. And we'll have him sitting on the top. And let's take a little bit more of our ribbon. This time let's go dark Highland Heather. Such a pretty colour. Really hoping this ribbon is going to become one of our staple supplies that never goes away, because it is so useful. I know there's lots of other ribbons that you can colour as well, but this one is so useful. Let's tie that in a bow. She says. Come on through. That's it. And just like that, we have beautifully coordinated ribbon. Just there. And last but not least, because we can't have even numbers, there has to be an odd number. I'll have one sticking on this end just here, like that. Just pretty, pretty. So, our first play straight from the box with the Quite Curvy Bundle and the Curvy Christmas We didn't get to play with the papers, but I'm sure we will. They are really lovely. Same, just really useful patterns as well. Not just for Christmas, but all year round. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed those. It was a fun first play and getting to know what the dies do. So top tip, make sure you know which side is the cutting edge on your dies and what it's going to do. But do take time to look at those dies and you'll see the raised bits, that's where it's going to cut. Anything else won't. So I hope you enjoyed those, and I will be back. Have a really, really lovely weekend, and I will be back to see you on Monday.